Hello. You know what time it is. It's time for the Daily Word with Topaz Blessings. Today's word, our competence comes from God. He has made us competent. It comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Depend completely on God. Jesus told his disciples, "Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." What did he mean by that? He meant that without the empowering presence of the Holy Spirit, which he just told them they'd soon receive, they weren't equal to the challenges they were about to face. It wasn't a matter of his doubting their devotion and willingness to serve him. He just knew they couldn't do it by themselves. And you can't either. So the sooner you quit trying, the better off you'll be. God isn't looking for educated, sophisticated, well-meaning flesh, or any other kind of flesh for that matter. He will only bless you when you acknowledge your total dependence on Him. That means praying and leaning on Him before you start, and continuing to pray and lean on Him until you reach the finish line. It also means that if God doesn't send you and you insist on going, or if He tells you to do something and you try to accomplish it in your own strength, you'll surely fail. And what's more, He will allow you to keep failing until you reach the place where you can say like Paul, "Not that we are competent in ourselves to claim anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God. He has made us competent." It's when we reach the end of our resources that God's power kicks in. So the word for you today, the word for you today is, instead of leaning on your own strength and resources, depend wholly and solely on God. And I want to repeat that one last time, coming to an end. The word for you today, instead of leaning on your own strength and resources, depend wholly and solely on God. Depend completely on God. All right. You've got the tools you need, so use them. And as I always say, don't waste a second, a minute, or an hour of your day without telling God that you love Him. All right, and in the background, you guys, there's a book that I read. It's called Crying Was My Middle Name. And I have a surprise for you. I'm hoping that you've been enjoying these daily words. What I would like to do, because I was blessed by this book many years ago, actually about probably 7 years ago, I would like to start reading this book. This book was based on a true story, and the lady's name was Ellen Rain Hal, Hal. And what I would like to do, I would like to start reading you some of her book. Now, of course, it would be impossible for me to read it all, and that's why I want to read you some excerpts from her book. And then the book is really cheap, and you can go in and get this book. And I think once I read some of the excerpts from her book that you'll really be interested in getting the book for yourself. And that's why I want to read some of it a little by little. And that way you'll be like, oh, I need to get this book. Or if you want to read it yourself and gift it out, we've got the holidays coming up. So that would be great. You can get a copy for yourself, and then you get some for your mom, your sisters, your siblings, co-workers, just anybody that you want to give it to. I'm telling you, y'all, this book is a blessing. I read it when I started reading it, and it's a very thin book. It's very small, not that many chapters. I read the book literally almost in one night. I started reading it from chapter 1. I was hooked. This is the book. Crying Was My Middle Name. It's a true story, and I'm going to start reading it, and I'm just going to read a little bit, maybe a little bit from each chapter, and that way that'll give you something to look forward to, and it's going to make you want to buy the book. All right. Have a blessed day. Remember, depend completely on God. Be blessed.